Well, COVID-19 case counts aren't climbing as fast as they were earlier this month, but deaths are starting to pick up. The State Department says it is working to improve the reporting of COVID-19 fatalities by identifying them through the cause of death that's listed on death certificates. Dallas County is reporting its lowest number of cases since July 22nd last week, with less than 500 cases. Now, here's the deal. Judge Clay Jenkins says there is some concern that some of the testing may not be getting through on the reports because of a potential glitch in the state's reporting system, but says he's increasingly optimistic with people's use of masks and social distancing. And with COVID still a threat, of course, some parents are finding out just how easily this virus can spread among crowds. Cleo Green in our newsroom this morning with details on how another summer camp, Cleo, ended with COVID cases.
Yeah, Sonia, it's pretty sad because, you know, summer camp, it's a staple and it's a good resource, especially for parents who are working throughout the summer. So the big question this morning, could summer camps foreshadow COVID-19 cases in schools? Well, doctors say pay attention as parents decide for themselves. So yesterday we got a chance to speak to Hannah Lovitz here over Zoom, and she just moved here from North Texas, and she did a lot of research to find the perfect summer camp for her two children who are under the age of 6. So she picked a camp that she believed would be the highest standards in terms of safety when it comes to this pandemic and coronavirus. Plano's Camp Gone Israel's rules made her feel more confident until it saw 4 coronavirus cases in mid-July. The camp, it shut down immediately, and now this mom of 2 says she's concerned the experience at camp foreshadows what could truly happen when schools open back up.
Camp was going to be a test drive for school. This is an example of where they did everything right, like truly 100% everything. And already it's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess. I mean, while most summer camps across the country never really opened, some did and have reported cases like Keystone Churches here at home. And just a week ago, a Missouri Christian summer camp ended up with 82 cases of COVID. Now, this is Dr. Jeffrey Kahn here, and he is the chief infectious disease expert at Children's Health. And he says this is inevitable. This is bound to happen because when you get a lot of people together, the virus starts spreading. Now, he says that he's been talking to a lot of concerned parents who are trying to make the best decision for their child. He says right now it's just time to take in all that information and make a decision. I know when it comes to back to school, this is the reason why school districts across the country are giving parents lots of options. Let's get to Mark. Mark, Fort Worth announcing that what students are going to be virtual only until late September.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes too many options is a bad thing, especially when those options seem to change from day to day. It certainly is what it feels like. And we've got another change to announce in Denton County. Well, schools there now have the option to delay in-person learning until after Labor Day. But health officials didn't give the green light to delay online learning as well. So again, more decisions for parents in that area to have to make. We're talking about Fort Worth ISD as well because they have a meeting tonight to discuss how they are moving forward with the upcoming school year. Parents and students were protesting yesterday outside Judge Glenn Whitley's office in Fort Worth, asking for the same options of inline or in-person schooling because as it stands, schools in Tarrant County will not reopen for in-person school until at least September 28th. Also, some new changes to STAR testing. A lot of folks were asking about if kids were going to have to take the STAR test this year. They will have to take it in 5th and 8th grade. You're going to take the test, but it will not affect whether or not you progress to the next grade. That's different than in years past. Obviously, this year is going to be very different. Look, we know that this plan is changing every single day and you want the latest information. If you do, it's easy. You can just text the word schools to 214-977-6028. We'll send you a plan that we've got put together, keeping track of all those changes so you can stay up to date. Something else you're going to want to stay up to date on is Major League Baseball. Boy, if you are a Major League fan, you enjoyed this past weekend. It doesn't matter if there weren't fans in the stands. You got to watch yourself some baseball, but that could all be changing because we saw a bunch of Miami Marlins players test positive for COVID-19 over the weekend, and that has sent the sports world into a tizzy. I want to get over to Chris Sadeghi, who is live outside Globe Life Field. And Chris, we haven't seen any Rangers test positive in this latest round of testing, but as we know, every single day these guys are getting tested, and this could change any minute.
Yes, Mark, and it certainly doesn't bode well for the rest of this season. We're just one weekend in, and Major League Baseball already forced to postpone some games. That after an outbreak hit the Miami Marlins team, 13 players and coaches at least testing positive. That led to the team's games versus Baltimore yesterday and tonight being postponed. A game between Philadelphia and the New York Yankees yesterday was also postponed so they can disinfect the locker room in Philadelphia that the Marlins were using this past weekend. So now baseball finds themselves in that situation they feared. What to do if there is an outbreak? Commissioner Rob Manfred, speaking on the MLB Network, said the Marlins team would continue to be tested, and if the results allowed, they'll return to play Wednesday. But he said there was no discussion of canceling the season, at least not at this point.
That we built protocols anticipating that we would have positive tests at some point during the season, and I think there was support for the notion that we believe that the protocols are adequate to keep our players safe.
Now, the NBA and the NHL went to that bubble system. So far, that system seems to be working. We haven't seen an outbreak like this in either one of those leagues. But Manfred said that the bubble wasn't really a possibility with Major League Baseball because the amount of personnel that each team has and brings along with them. Sonia.
Chris, thank you. It is 6:10.